Welcome to the Nothing Much Just Chillin' Show with your hosts Emma and Julio. Nothing much, just chillin' show. Nothing much, just a chillin'.
Welcome back to NMJC, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Emma, and this is my podcast called Nothing Much Just Chillin', where we chill, and it's kind of more of a heart-to-heart between friends on FaceTime than it is a podcast. So if you're into that kind of thing, please subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, follow the podcast on Apple Podcast, all the things. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys, gather around because this is going to be a very intimate episode. As you guys can see, if you are watching me right now, I'm in my bedroom, which is where I have filmed a lot of these episodes, but I've been trying out filming during the day in the living room, in the dining area of my apartment that has better light and all that stuff. So I'm filming right now at night with my vanity in my bedroom, super intimate, okay? Because this one's going to be deep. I felt like it needed an evening time performance from me, if you will. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I am an evening person. Okay, like in the mornings, that's when I like to get up slow. I like to get my bearings. The daytime is for daydreaming, honestly. I'm a Pisces, so that's usually what I'm doing, daydreaming. At night, I need sleep. I need like 10 hours of sleep at night. I'm not a night owl. If I don't have like at least 7 hours, but if I don't have like 8 hours of sleep, really, I get very grumpy. I love sleeping. Sleeping is my favorite thing to do. Okay? So I'm not a night owl. I'm not staying up all night unless I have to. There are some nights where I do stay up late because I have to finish something for work, or I don't know, Julio and I are out doing something. But the hours of 5 to 9 p.m., 6 to 10 in the summer, really, because it's 9:58 p.m. right now. So it's still kind of like evening time for me. But I did wake up later than usual this morning. I woke up at like 8:45 and I usually wake up around 7. So I'm feeling okay, but we are alone together right now because Julio is at a work event and I am all ready for bed. Really, like if you're watching, like I look very shiny because I have all my skincare done. I'm fully ready for bed. I'm in my sleep sweatshirt, nighttime skincare done. My hair is up. My bed is ready for me to jump in and read, waiting for Julio to come back. So I feel really good about the vibes right now. I'm feeling in my element to talk about what I want to talk to you guys about today, which is, starting off, it's Cancer season. Okay? If you don't know much about astrology, that's fine because I don't really know that much about astrology either. I'll say things, like I know some things, and I can tell someone like the overall idea of what like the sun, moon, and rising and Venus and all that stuff is, but I don't really know like the nitty-gritty details, and I don't know the details for like every single sign. Okay? I'm not an expert. I'm not an astrology expert. But what I do know is that during Cancer season, every year without fail, I feel a little sad, a little sensitive, a little nostalgic. And those are all characteristics of a Cancer. Oh, Cancer is very sensitive, moody, intuitive, thoughtful, caring, nurturing, and they're often said to be the crybabies of the zodiac. Well, probably Cancer and Pisces, but you know what? I would argue that there's other signs that are more crybabies, even though I am a crybaby. I do cry a fair amount, but I feel like I'm not a crybaby. Like I don't feel like when I cry, I feel like, oh, I'm a crybaby. Like I cry because I feel things very deeply. You know what? Maybe I am just crying about like stupid shit. Now that I think about it. Okay, whatever. I think Pisces are the real crybabies of the zodiac then, I guess. But you know what I mean. Cancers are known to be just sad little crabs, I guess. The mascot. Is that what it's called? The mascot for cancers is a crab. I didn't just call a group of people crabs. Okay, that is their mascot. But anyways, yes, cancers are very intuitive, sensitive, thoughtful, and extremely nostalgic. And I love the feeling of nostalgia. I feel it all year round, but I feel like I feel it especially during summer, during this Cancer season. But yeah, I love the feeling of nostalgia. I think that's actually why I love film photography so much, because film photography is just so, it just like captures a moment perfectly where it just feels like that moment lasts forever. There's something about film that just feels so nostalgic. I mean, it was, the first way that, not the first way, because was there another way? Was it the first way? I don't know. The first way, I guess, I think, don't quote me on that people started taking photographs, like how photography started. And I love it. I love the feel of it so much. I love the feeling I get when I'm taking the picture. Like when I'm taking a film picture, I guess when I'm taking a picture in general, but digital, it's easier. I'm like snapping away, right? Trying to get the right moment. But with film, I'm looking through the viewfinder, searching for the moment to release the shutter, And it's more special, I think, because it's a gift of like timing. It's a gift of intuition to know when that moment is going to be in whatever scene that you're trying to capture. But nostalgia. The definition of nostalgia is a sentimental longing for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. I'm sure we all know what nostalgia is and what it feels like. It's just nice to look back on happy memories with people who may or may not still be in your life. And for the ones that like aren't, it could be like, it's like a good kind of pain, like it feels good. Like, oh, like I miss that time. Oh, I miss them. I miss that person. I miss that place. I miss that era of myself, It's I feel like it's a loving pain because it can cut deep. It can cut really deep, and it can even bring you to tears thinking back on moments that have meant a lot to you, key moments in your life. It's nice to revisit those feelings. At least for me, I think it's nice. I love feelings. I love feeling things very deeply, but I know that not everyone feels that way or has the same ease when it comes to feelings. Some people have a harder time letting their feelings out or being in touch with their feelings, Oh my God, how many times can I say feelings? But yeah, I just know that they don't come easy to some people, but this is me giving you permission to feel whatever you want to feel while listening to this episode and after. It's good to be in touch with your emotions, and it's healthy to feel, and it's just nice to remember precious times, precious moments in your life, people that impacted you so much to where you think back on the time that you spent with them as something that shaped who you are today. Memories are a blessing. Can be a blessing. Obviously there's bad memories, there's trauma, there's times that you look back and you cringe at yourself, or times you made mistakes, or times you were embarrassed or felt shame. But sometimes it's nice to look back on memories that aren't so great and acknowledge how you've changed or how far you've come from then, or what's in your life now that you have always wanted and at that time you didn't have, but you never expected that it would turn out as great as it has. It's just nice to look back and reflect on how much you've grown. And every time I go home to Maryland, as I said in the last podcast, we just got back from the East Coast from seeing our family. And yeah, every time I go back home to Maryland in the home that the childhood home I grew up in, and stay in my room that I grew up in, I have overwhelming feelings of nostalgia. And I think while my parents are still there and they still live in that house, like a lot has changed in who I talk to from home, I mean, it sucks because I don't have that much time ever when I'm home to meet up with everyone I want to meet up with and reach out to everyone I want to reach out to, because I'm so focused on seeing my family and seeing Julio's family that a lot of seeing friends just falls by the wayside. And I wish it wasn't like that. Like, I wish there was just more time always. And I mean, it could go back for longer periods of time, but I like being in LA. I really I prefer being in LA no matter how much I miss my family on the East Coast. I really love California and I really love being here, and I don't want to take that much time away. So the time that I have there with my family is very precious to me. But yeah, the more I get older, the more I have these feelings of nostalgia when I come home, because everything is the same but so different. And I was really thinking about this on one of Julio and I's walks. Every night that we were there on the East Coast, basically, we would take a walk at night. Well, one, I love walking. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's sleep, then walking. But yeah, I love going on a nighttime walk, but we had to, because we had to smoke. My dad made us wear like headlights. He has these headlights that he made us put on when we went on our night walks. So we were just like wearing these headlights while smoking a J around my neighborhood. But yeah, we would just walk around the two cul-de-sacs that I grew up in, and I would just have all these memories revisit me of playing with my childhood friends, playing with my neighbors, especially being on the bottom of my driveway. Like, there's so much that happened on the bottom of my driveway growing up, whether it be like deep talks with friends or the many breakups that I had at the end of my driveway, the many breakups, the many fights with boyfriends or boys. I miss a lot of it. I miss a lot of people, not in a way where it's just like, oh, like those were the good days, but I just like miss things. I miss certain friendships I had, certain relationships that I had with people. But now that I have Julio and I am in such like a healthy, stable relationship, it makes those memories that I have of growing up with, the memories I have with boys or people I liked or anything of that nature romantically, it makes those, and even friendship wise, because Julio he's the best friend that I've ever had. Like, I've never been somebody's number one person, and it feels really nice for the first time in my life to be somebody's number one person. Like, I've never had that before. So having him as my best friend and the best partner that I could ever have, it just feels like I won, like thinking about all the times, all the fights, all the long talks, all the walk homes from my ex's house, all the breakups on the bottom of my driveway. It just all feels like like worth it, like I went through all that, but now I have the best person in the world. I have an actual angel that is gonna love me forever, and it just feels like I won. Like the game of life, I won. That's actually how it feels. But I just love the feeling now of looking back on my younger self, who was so heartbroken, who was so blinded by love, who was so fucking stupid, and being like, wow, you really made it out of that. You really made it out alive. You really did something. You really manifested your perfect partner in life. But even though Julio is 100 million times better than any boy that I've ever met or been acquainted with, I still love thinking back on like good memories that I have with people, because even through all the bad, even through all like the breaking up and fighting with like all my past relationships or situationships, there was some really great moments, some really key moments that made me who I am today. And I hold them dear to my heart. And when I was home, there was just one walk when I was just like so emotional thinking about all of it, and I just like wanted to hug Julio and be like, oh my god, like I thank god it ended up this way, because there was some rough moments missing people in that way, like romantically. Like if you're missing an ex and stuff, like it doesn't have to mean that like you want that person back. You could just miss that time in your life, or like be nostalgic for the good memories that you have with that person, right? Like it's okay to have those feelings, you know? Again, this is my permission. If you used to have a relationship with someone, used to have a connection with someone, used to have a friendship with someone who's no longer in your life, that doesn't mean that you still can't look back fondly on the memories that you do have with them, you know, even if it didn't work out friendship wise or romantic wise, you still have these memories together. All right, so I have been crying watching TikToks, and I just get these TikToks. I mean, I'm just like a big quote person. I've always loved quotes. But sometimes when I'm scrolling on TikTok, I come across like a compilation of quotes, and they'll be really, you know, it'll have like some sad, nostalgic music playing, and it will just be the most gut-wrenching, heart-churning quotes, and I will be crying, and Julio will look over at me like 2 minutes later when I'm like deep into like scrolling through these quotes, and there's just like I don't even notice it. There's just tears streaming down my face. So I'm gonna share a couple quotes that have got me into this like nostalgic spirit lately. I feel like if I relate to these quotes, then you guys will too. So here we go. A haunted house is the memory of your ex-friend's home that you know like the back of your hand, but will never step foot inside again. I know y'all just pictured a house of one of your friends that you aren't friends with anymore, or a partner that you aren't in a relationship with anymore, and just knowing like, oh my God, like I know every inch of that house, but I will never step foot in it again. Like that, just like, oh, that's so sad. That's so sad to be like so close with somebody, to be so close with somebody's family, and just like not have a relationship at all with them anymore. Okay, next one. I think the weirdest thing is having leftover information about someone. Like I still know someone's favorite girl name, or their favorite season, or someone's address. I remember somebody's favorite ice cream flavors, and someone's favorite childhood book, and the mental disorder their uncle has. I remember the ages and birthdays of their siblings. I remember the song they said they'd sing to their spouse. Where do I put this down? Where do I learn to forget? Oh, that's very sad. So if you guys didn't know this about me, I'm very good at remembering people's birthdays. I always have been growing up. I'm not even that like I'm good at it, but just it was important to me. It was really important to me to remember people's birthdays. And I remember almost all of my high school friends' birthdays, but there's only a select few that I actually like still say happy birthday to. But whenever a date comes about where it's their birthday, I like think like, oh my God, it's their birthday, but like I don't talk to them anymore. So like it would be weird if like reached out and like said happy birthday, but like it's not weird. I mean, some people I just don't have their number anymore. But yeah, like that's so sad. Like where do I put it down? Like where do I put this information? Okay, this one, as soon as I read it, I started bawling. I remember in another universe, me and my high school friends are still having lunch together. That makes me want to cry right now. Makes me want to cry so bad just like thinking about being at in high school at the lunch table with all my friends and all the dumb shit we would talk about and say and do. I remember I would just keep myself entertained. I made like fortune catchers all the time to like ask my friends at lunch to do them, you know. What are they called? Fortune catchers? Is that what they're called? You know, the things where you like, I'm like doing the motion on the screen. But you like write something and I would write like little like motivational quotes or like song lyrics or like, I don't know, dumb shit, and tell my friends to do them with me at lunch. And oh, there's just like so many memories that I have like in the high school cafeteria. So I sobbed. I sobbed when I first read that. All right, next one. Listening to the same music I used to listen to when I was 14, 15 is something else. I'm still her. I'm nothing like her. She knew everything. She knew nothing. She was so right. She was so wrong. I love that. I love that especially because you know it just came out? Speak Now, Taylor's version. And I'm pretty sure when Speak Now released, I think I was 14 or 15. I think I was exactly that. First off, I just have to say I love the song When Emma Falls in Love. Like that song is so perfect. I love it. It is my favorite song in the world right now. I'm like playing it over and over and over. And half of me is like, damn, I really wish we had that song before. But actually most of me is like, I'm so glad that that song didn't see the light of day until now, because any boy that I was talking to, if that song came out, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm in love with him. Like he's the one. Like I would have just romanticized like any situationship, any relationship that I had at that time, and just made it 10 times worse than it already was from all the other songs that I could relate to at that time. Because this one is like, you know, specifically has my name, and I'm a lover. I'm a Pisces Venus, which is just really intense. I have so much love to give, truly. And I really I feel so weird saying like I relate to the song, because it's literally just her being like, Emma's the best. Like, Emma's the best when she's in love. Like she's the best girlfriend ever. Like she's the best partner. Like this boy's world is going to change. And I do think that like I'm a really good partner. Like I talk down about myself, or I talk down to myself about myself to myself. Oh my God, what? But one thing I know I'm really good at is being a girlfriend, is love in general, is loving. And yeah, it's just a beautiful song. But I'm really enjoying listening to all the other songs, the re-recorded versions. Back to December is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. So I mean, Speak Now is probably my favorite Taylor Swift album. Mine, Sparks Fly, Mean. Oh my God, Mean. It's hard to pick a favorite Taylor Swift album, actually. It's actually impossible because I love all of them, but I think that now that When Emma Falls in Love is on this new re-recorded Taylor version, now that we have this song from the vault, I'm like, okay, I think Speak Now is my favorite song. It's my favorite album now, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I love that song. I love Taylor Swift. Apparently it's about Emma Stone, because they were friends. I think they're still friends, but they were friends back then. And I mean, some people are saying that it's talking about her relationship with Kieran Culkin, but then some people are saying Andrew Garfield. I'm pretty sure it's Andrew Garfield, but I don't know. Let me know if you're a Swiftie and you know the tea, but I don't actually know. But I'm just so glad that it's out now instead of then, because you know, one thing about me, guys, I'm such a stupid girl. Like I said, I'm a Pisces Venus. I have a lot of love to give, but I fall in love very easily. I fall in love quite instantaneously. And that is not, it's not great. It's not a great trait to have. It's annoying, honestly. And Julio knows this about me, so he accepts me for me. which is so crazy. But anyway, I mean, just talking about Julio, that's what I was getting to. Like, after my last relationship, I feel like the universe was like, oh my God, this girl is so fucking dumb, but she finally knows her worth now, or is like seemingly knows her worth now. But just in case, we are not going to take any chances. We are just going to put this angel in front of her face so that she falls in love with him, so that this is the person that she falls in love with, because we know that like any person who's in front of her right now, she'll fall in love with, because she's a fucking idiot when it comes to love and will give love to anyone who looks her way. And they just like, the universe was just like, okay, we're gonna stick Julio in front of her so that she stops making bad decisions when it comes to love. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And it is just the biggest blessing of my life, you know? So glad I have that song now, and now can think of Julio when I sing it. And oh my God, that's so nice. That's so nice. Like this song that Taylor wrote eons ago, you know? It could have been released then, but it wasn't. But now the first time I'm hearing it is when I'm in this like amazing soulmate relationship, you know? And I have an old Taylor Swift song now that like only has meaning for me when it comes to Julio. And that's very cool. I like that. Okay, some other quotes that I wanted to share. Missing you comes in waves. Tonight I'm drowning. That, it's like when you miss someone so much, it just like consumes all of you. It hurts. It's a hurt. It hurts. Missing people hurts, okay? Like I will admit that. It's not all just like, oh, like, wow, like that time in my life was like really great and like that friendship was really great. But it's like missing people hurts. And this next quote is also about missing someone. Now I have to remember you for longer than I have known you. I mean, the older I get, the more time that I spend away from those past relationships in my life that I no longer have anymore. So it's just more time in between, you know, like I haven't seen a lot of my friends in years because I live so far away, but still, like there's a lot of friends that like I fell out of touch with. It sucks because we were kids together. It's everyone's fault, you know? Like I'm bad at keeping up with people, I will admit. I'm bad at keeping up with a lot of people, but I also feel like distance is a huge factor, and me moving away to college in North Carolina, it was a huge factor. And we used to be a lot of people I grew up with, we used to see each other all the time because, you know, you go to school every day and you see those people. And then in college too, your friends, you see them like at least once a week, or you live with them, you know. And it's just, when you grow up, it's more of a selective game, and people move different places, and it's hard. And this last quote that I'm going to share, at least our paths have crossed. I love that. At least our paths have crossed. At least we knew each other in this lifetime, you know? Like that is truly a blessing, and I hope that's how a lot of people look back on their friendship with me, because I look back at a lot of my friendships like that. Like, oh, I'm so glad I got to like know that person. I got to spend time with that person. I got to experience growing up with that person, and they still mean a lot to me, but they might not be in my life anymore, but that's okay. It's growing up. We all have those growing pains, you know, of missing people, but there are some people that like you miss that you're like, you know, I don't have to miss them, because they could be people that just live close by. And I actually had a friend, a really close friend, somebody who I've been friends with since my freshman year of college. We lost touch. We lost our friendship like around a year and a half ago. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but for the sake of this podcast and talking about missing people and nostalgia, like sometimes you don't have to miss them. Sometimes you can reach back out. I mean, you could always reach back out. Like, nope. What's the worst somebody is going to say to you? Fuck off. that's really the worst they could say to you, or they could just ghost you, I guess. But most people would be like, oh my God, like, so nice to hear from you, you know? Especially if it's just like there wasn't a falling out, like there was just distance and time, and too much distance and too much time. It makes it harder to revisit that friendship or that relationship, you know? And yeah, there was just one night a couple months ago, Julio and I were driving, and all of a sudden I just started thinking about all these memories that I had with this person, and like our relationship, and how much this person like meant to me, and how much I think hopes that I meant to them. And I just started bawling. I was just like crying. Julio was driving like, are you okay? And I'm like, I just, and then I just like splurted out like how I was feeling. And he was like, oh, like, it's okay. Like, it's so valid. It's okay to feel these feelings. And of course I know that, but Julio was just like, you know, trying to help me through it. But I was just bawling in a way that was like, oh my God, like, this is, I think, confirmation that like I need to reach out to this person, because I don't want my life to not include them. Through my tears and through my breakdown on, you know, thinking about these memories with this person, thinking about missing this person, I was like, I don't have to miss this person. I really don't. Like, I can reach out. Like, this is not somebody who it's from like a, you know, a long time ago, a past thing. Like, even then, like I said, like, you can reach out whenever to anyone, you know, like what's the worst that could happen? Like, what are you really scared of? You know, like, there's nothing really you should be scared of, unless you, I don't know, did something horrible to that person, you know? But most people don't hold grudges. Like, I feel like it's very rare that people hold grudges nowadays. Like, I certainly don't. But long story short, now we're friends again, and all is fine. And I'm really glad that they're back in my life, because I just don't want to miss any more people, you know? Like, I think I'm capped on the amount of people that I'm physically able to miss, you know? Like, I already have to miss, like, distance wise, like my family back east, you know? But I can't miss like any more friends, like I hate I hate when like a friend moves here, or we find friends here in LA and then they move away. It's the worst. Like Luke, I really, really miss Luke all the time. I think about it all the time. Like, I wish we could just like go over to each other's houses. And oh, well, if you don't know Luke, he's been on the podcast before, but anyways, he's one of Julio and I's good friends that we met only a couple years ago, and we're like, yes, like, we finally have like more friends in LA. Another friend in LA, and yeah, he moved, but it's great. We're so happy for him and his new life and everything that's going on for him. We're so happy for him, but we just miss him a lot. But yeah, I just don't want to miss any more people, and I was just like, this is stupid. I need to reach out to this person, and I did, and it's all great now. Obviously, if you haven't been friends with someone for a really long time, there's going to be a period where you have to, like, if you do reach back out, there is going to be a period of like understanding where each other's at, or understanding who each other is now, because, you know, people change every single day. Who I was when I was a teenager is not who I am now, you know? So there is going to be that period of like getting to know each other. But that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Besides just it being cancer season, what got me thinking about nostalgia was that Julio and I saw the movie Past Lives. We saw it this past weekend. I've been meaning to see it for a while, but I feel like every time I brought it up, Julio was just like, I don't really know what that is. But like, I didn't want to explain it to him, because I hate knowing what a movie is about before I see it. Like, I like to not see a trailer. Like, if I can avoid a trailer, I will try to, because I want to go in blind to the movie theaters. I don't know why I'm like that, but I just love not knowing anything about a movie before I go into it. I just love to have a clean slate. I love to not have any guesses or predictions. And even when I'm watching the movie, like, even if it's a movie where you can easily decipher what's going to happen, like, I try not to think about that. I try to just like be in the moment and have the reactions and the feelings that movie was meant to make me to make me feel. I think a lot of what I just said stems from, going to film school and having like the magic be ruined, to where I was always, whenever I watched a movie, I would think about it very critically about, how it was written, or like the shots and stuff. And I still think about that stuff to an extent, but not the way I did when I was a film student, that it just like ruined watching films for me. I just want to watch a good film. So anyways, we saw Past Lives. Highly, highly, highly recommend this movie. I'm not going to go too into what it's about, but basically there was these two childhood friends who they, at their young age, like liked each other, like had a little crush on each other, like had some sort of strong relationship, strong friendship at the time. But then one of them moved away, like the girl moved away from Korea to the United States, and they lost touch. And it's based, in the early 2000s when this happens. So there's not like this crazy amount of digital, social media and stuff. So they didn't stay in touch. So in the film they reconnect. But what's funny about the reconnection is that it happens because the girl tries to find the guy, but the guy has been trying to find the girl for like years, like a long ass time, like 12 years. And he never found her, and she found him in like a second. And I think that just goes to show that girls are so much better at online stalking than men. Like that's just like a little thing that I thought about right now, that they must have. I mean, I don't know if they thought about it when they were writing the movie, but it's just so true. Like girls can find information like that, and boys just can't. They're not as good as like at online stalking, which is, it's just a skill that us girlies have, And so I thought that was funny. But yeah, really amazing film. Julio actually, he wasn't really interested in seeing it. And then afterwards he was like, oh my God, like, thank you for making us go see that, because that was incredible. I love when movies just like are very subtle and have like a subtle message. Like some of these movies, these action movies, these American made movies, it's just doing too much. I love just like a deep, artsy movie. But what this film made me realize, besides just wanting to talk about nostalgia on the podcast, is that missing people that you used to be in a relationship with or in a friendship with, missing people from your past, it's so normal. We all have people from our past that we wish that it maybe was a different end or a different story, or wish that they were still in our lives, or you're just looking back like, oh, that was such a good time, that was such a good friendship. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that person was on my timeline, like I'm glad that we met. I'm glad that we had that connection. It was just nice that our paths crossed, and that we got to hold each other for that period of time. But also I'm just so happy with the relationships that I have in my life right now. Like you can miss people from your past, but still be so grateful and over the moon and so happy with the people you currently have in your life. They can both exist. So maybe this podcast will encourage you to reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, that you've been meaning to, or I don't know, reconnect with anybody from your past, or just think differently about a situation that you had in the past that you maybe have like a dark cloud over, but kind of think, looking back now, you're like, oh, I'm glad that happened, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it didn't. So yeah, I have a lot of gratitude for my past and the people in my past, because here I am with the love of my life, and my best friend in the fucking world. That is a wrap on this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for chilling with me. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, follow, write a review, all that stuff. Please interact with me. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Nothing much, just a chillin'.